SIS College. I would like to welcome each one of you. And today here we are having a webinar to Center for Excellence in association or jointly with IQAC Cell and Value Lab. So today's seminar is based on the value on self-reliance. Swarna?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please start.
Good morning, everyone. Am I audible? Let's introduce the speaker right now, Dr. Sandeep H. Wankhede, PhD in Hybrid Non-Traditional Manufacturing, Black Belt 6 Sigma. He is the Associate Professor and IQAC Coordinator, Evangelist and Chairperson of the TRIZ Student Chapter, TRIZ Association of Asia. He has appeared for TRIZ Level 3. He has 22 years of experience in academic teaching and 2 years of industry experience. He has an inquisitive mind and is keen to research on innovation, new product development, Industry 4.0 and related concepts. He has developed 3 innovative machines and mechanisms, filed 2 patents and successfully published 12 research papers. He has judged many national technical competitions and delivered lectures and conferences at national and international level. He has been conducting sessions on a wide range of topics such as entrepreneur development, employability enhancement, AI, industrial engineering and management, zero defect, creative leadership, and so on. And today, he is here to connect with all of us in this webinar on systematic invention through TRIZ. Requesting Dr. Sandeep Wankhede, the speaker of today's session, to take over. Technical team, kindly do the needful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the nice introduction. Good morning, all. It is a very privileged moment for us as a TRIZ Asia to present our initiative, and that too on a very important topic, that is self-reliance. Though we would be speaking on the systematic innovation through TRIZ, the message what we want to give is how TRIZ is useful for the new motto of our Prime Minister. Okay, so and the same time I thank Mahalakshmi ma'am, the coordinators and all who are organizing this event, and obviously management of SIES College. So what I'll be touching upon today is today's innovation management. What is this? How it helps? Then TRIZ problem solving approach. Then TRIZ innovation roadmap. Then innovation forecast, inventive resources and ideality, and if really it is effective and how its role in academics, what are the takeaways from this? Okay, and I just spoke about the pandemic and the post-COVID events. The things would be very difficult, and we have to embrace ourselves and prepare ourselves to fight with it and to survive through all this problem. And what is the message by PM Modi is that let's be vocal for local, and he has mentioned certain areas from which like these sectors are there wherein we have as an India natural advantage and potential to be a strength for the country. I'll not go through this because this is already evident and this is already published, but I'll just let us all be aware that if academics is braced for this, all these sectors will automatically be strengthened. So what we are today, and we have August gathering of many faculty members and students. So I'll be just trying to touch upon like how we can be self-reliant by inventive in a systematic manner. So let's see who was the one of the most great inventor. So it's Thomas Edison. He had around 10,000, 1,000 plus patents, and for the patent for which he is known most is the light bulb. But let me tell you one more important thing. Edison did not invent light bulb. What at all he has done is he has made it as a product. Now, what do we mean by product? And when we again say that we have to be self-reliant, so what kind of product we have to make so that it is saleable? So basic definition of a product is that something which needs or which meets the needs of the customer. Okay, and in a thrice way, we also mentioned that which is solving some problem or which is solving some of the contradictions. So let's not go in the detail of these definitions. We'll go over the period of time. But initially, what is a product which should have some life, which should perform the function for which it is designed, and which should fit to the pocket of the customer. If it is a very costly thing, it will just become some kind of thing which people will think, wow, it is very good, it is a very good innovation, but what is the use? I cannot afford it. Or what is the use? Even if I can afford it, it does not have a longer life, or it is not meeting the requirement or meeting the expectation of the customer or of the system in a proper way. So in fact, when Edison made it as a product, so what he has to look after and what he has done basically is he has performed over 6,000 experiments. Just consider making a invention which was actually, if some current is passed through some material, that materials get heated, and while getting heated, it radiates light, and this light can illuminate something, and it can work as a lamp, because that was a duration wherein lamps were used for illuminate. But it just went off, because we know in air, whenever there is something, it immediately starts corroding, and that wire or cable or what gets either broken up or gets disabled. So he performed, and finally he has come up with a carbon filament. Okay, for that he had to do 6,000 experiments. For nickel and battery, again 10,000 plus experiments. When we have all grown up with this statement that genius is 1% and 99% perspiration. Now, if someone is motivated to do something, he will be readily available or put himself to lot of efforts, lot of hard work. But just hard work may not be sufficient. Now, there was the Edison success. It inspired many innovation industry. Why? People used to say that we have to perform more and more experimentation. So for more and more experimentation, we need more and more equipment. We need more and more manpower. And there used to be very giant R&D labs manned by thousands of techniques. But people very soon realized that this is not going to work. We know a scientist or an inventor, a great inventor again, Nikola Tesla. He is actually, we have to be very thankful that today we are able to communicate with each other, even if we are not in front of each other, just because one of the sources is electricity. So he's the one who brought the electricity to our home. What does he say about Edison? Because you and me are too small to say anything about Edison. So he said, like, if Edison would have used even 30% of the scientific or mathematical approach, he would have saved a lot of his time. Okay. And he just kept the books and all the science and maths away, and just diligence, with the diligence of a honeybee, he starts working without thinking even for a moment. And he gave an analogy that if there is a haystack, within that haystack, if a needle is to be found, how would Edison find it? So this is a version which is demonstrated or spelled out by Nikola Tesla. Obviously, it is an exaggerated one, but what Edison would have done is he would have moved one straw after another till the time he finds the needle. Now there are only two ways in which he can find them. One, if he is lucky enough and that needle is lying somewhere on the top, and immediately after some work he'll get the needle, or by his hard work. Okay, even if it is lying at the bottom of this, but just due to his hard work he'll keep on doing it. And as we have seen that how his labs work, so what he'll do, he'll not do it alone, he'll call more and more people and ask them to do it. Simultaneously working would save upon time, but again he is using one more resources, and that is manpower, and the salaries given to these manpower. Just think, by the time one can find out the needle, by this employing 10 manpower or 4 manpower or whatever the number, will it be cost effective to find the needle? Probably not. The basic purpose itself will be defied in this case. Okay, So if we have to find out what technical method which we can find is just we can get a magnet and find out it. So if someone can quickly unmute his or her mic and tell me other ways to find out the needle. I understand that there are more than 200 people, so it will be very difficult to manage. Okay, I'll go ahead. So as I've said, this perils of psychological inertia of Edison was rather revealed by the realized that try and error method is not very useful. So today's innovation landscape goes in a way wherein we minimize the risk and increase the innovation effectiveness. Now, what is innovation effectiveness? There are two modes of developing any of the product, service or a process. Now, what are those? One is that there would be modular increment or gradual increments. Or this is also said as incremental process. So what is done? Feature by feature is added, check the market, whether market is accepting it, then add the another feature. And in this way, it is safe and there is less risk. But it takes huge time. If we go for a breakthrough innovation or breakthrough invention for that matter, so what we are doing is we are suddenly trying to do something radically different. Okay, we have seen most of the time, if you just take an example of CDs. So earlier there were CDs which gradually improved its efficiency and that went through the incremental way. And suddenly there were pen drives. So pen drives are breakthrough invention in that. Okay. So while launching the pen drive, if people would have launched a pen drive with 1 TB, it was not launched with 1 TB. It would have been very, very, very costly and people would not have accepted it. So it went in a systematic way. So what Thriz actually does is, or rather without Thriz practices, what people try to do is they try to optimize. And when we use Thriz, what we do, we go for a risky innovation, but in a rewarding incremental method. And this is how it is. Now, a question is how it can be done. So let's see it. How do we solve problems? So everyone is a problem solver. Everyone can solve the problem with equal efficiency. But what stops someone is, and the worst part of mental inertia is that nobody accepts that he has got mental inertia because nobody knows that I have mental inertia. Now what Thriz does? Thriz gives us a systematic step-by-step way on which if we climb, we automatically avoid whatever is a cause or whatever is a disturbance for development of the product through mental inertia. Okay, so problem is here. Earlier, this fellow could not see the problem, but when he started climbing step by step, he reached to the solution. Okay, now how effective is innovation? Basically, it is found by research. If there are 3,000 raw ideas, out of them only 300 ideas are worth of submitting. Out of them only 125 are converted in small projects. Out of that only 9 reaches to the early stage development, 4 reaches to the major development, because you see, as we go on a right side of this, we are investing more and more money and more resources for actually checking them through manufacturing them or through making more and more study on them. So there would be around 1.7 launches, means around 2 we can consider maximum, and we get only 1 successful. Okay. So what happens is innovation is actually cumbersome. It becomes cumbersome because we are going to one. Let's see other way around. If I go by this survey, if I go by this research, so now if I have to make one successful product, what I need to do, I need to generate 3,000 raw ideas. Okay. So at one place, what I am doing is I am increasing the number of methods or trials to make this 3,000 ideas to reach to one success. But at the same time, because I need 1 or 2 success, for what? For that I have to generate 3,000 ideas. So earlier what I am doing is I am getting more and more idea, and at a later stage I am filtering out these ideas to reach to the successful thing. So is it not a double waste? Going from 1 to 3,000 and 3,000 to filter out to 1. Okay, so what is this value? We want is one successful product, process, or service. For that, we have to find many ideas, and out of these ideas, we have to convert them into some small projects, some different prototypes, and all that stuff. And then we have to even check whether these are manufacturable, whether these are packable, whether these are transportable. All these things also we have to see, and finally we get to one. Okay, ideal value would be always one on one. Now, when we use TRIZ, so we say that there are not only one solution, you can have number of solutions, because for different solutions may be better. Because even if we are solving some of the problem, it is to be always remember that when we are solving one problem, we are actually creating some secondary problem. So if I have 4 solutions, so what I need to check, which has got minimum secondary problems. Okay, so it is always better that we should have more and more workable solutions, and we should reach to workable solution only. Now I'll show you these things also, like this is working solution and in which we want to go. Out of this, again, we'll go towards most ideal solution. Now, what is the scenario? And where we are held up with the mental inertia. You can see this cartoon. This lady is asking this man that I thought you lost your car keys over there, and why you are finding it here? So he says, I did, I know, but it's light over here. What does this light signifies is the domain knowledge which this person knowledge consists of the information and the facts which he's having, and plus his experience. Based upon this, whatever he has got, he is trying to search within this, and that is exactly happening over here. We have some very good methods which are being used, which may be brainstorming, synectics, lateral thinking, design thinking, then systematic inventive techniques, and all those things. But these are certain random methods. Still, they are giving solution because these are try and error. You keep on trying like Edison, and at the end of day, month, year, or maybe a decade, you may reach to certain solution. But what is holding us over here is the strong mental inertia which drives us away from the right solution direction. Trace gives us a zone in which we can get the working solutions directly, and our choice would be just to move towards ideal solution. Just to give you another analogy with the haystack, this needle is very evident, but this fellow does not reach to this from an outer side. What he's doing, he's just going through this, and you can understand how much time he'll need to reach to this. So what we need to have an overview of a problem, understand the problem in a better way. Many a time, what we feel is our problem is not the problem at all. It is something totally different. Okay, so this is again an analogy. If you have to get a princess, you have to kiss a frog. And if you are not knowing which frog will convert into princess, you'll have to keep on kissing thousands of frogs, and then you may be able to do it. And that is why it is said, like invention is very cumbersome. Invention is very time consuming. And it is also, in this case, very dirty. Who will kiss thousands of frogs and then still wait for the princess? I don't know. Further, it is difficult to find a black cat in a dark room, especially when the cat is not there at all. We are just trying to find out, like this fellow. Okay, going ahead, there are at least 16 type of psychological inertia, and we say that problem solver has to overcome minimum of these 3. These are terminological inertia, image inertia, and inertia due to functional orientation. Triz has got a methodology to overcome all these things. So within today's introduction session, I won't be able to go in the details of that, but I'll just give you a simple example on this, that if I term a product, that is fan. What do we look at? We look at a fan with 3 blades, which is put up or hang on the ceiling, right? Or else what we think of that there is a pedestal fan, there is a table fan, there is an exhaust fan. But whenever I am having the word fan, I get the image that this image has got some blades and a motor which is rotating them. Even the Japanese fan with the hand, which can be moved by hand, is also a fan. Okay, we may reach to it, but there are many other things which are actually performing the same function of the fan. What is the function of a fan? In this method, it just cuts air and it directs air in a particular direction. Now, if you are sitting under it, then only you will be getting a feeling that you are getting a cooler environment. Maybe because if you are perspiring, so in that case, your sweat is getting evaporated quickly, and in this manner you are feeling this. But fan is not actually directly touching your body. It is the air which is getting directed to you. Again, let's not go in all these jargons, but just think of, is there anything, or just in a simpler way, if I consider what is the function of the fan in a simple word, non-threes word, is to evacuate heat and feel the person or whatever the system may be. Many a time we use industrial fan to cool the machine also. So evacuate the heat from that. There may be fan from outside, there may be fan from inside, but we just think that there are fan. You just Google and try to find out what is heat pipe. Heat pipe is again a system wherein the heat is transferred from one end to other end. Nowadays, all our mobile phones and all the latest laptops, which has got, you might have observed, these laptops are nowadays having more and more life with respect to battery. They have more and more silent, they are thinner and thinner. Why this happens? Because all this fan, physical fan with blades and all are removed from that. You just see, if fan is rotating, it has to have some space. If fan is rotating, it has to have some energy requirement, and obviously any rotating thing will make noise, and that is why earlier laptops used to be very noisy. But just you can find out, as I mentioned, you can just Google out what is heat pipe, and you will just realize that there is no moving part within that, but still it is performing the function of a fan. Okay, so unless we come out, or someone has come out of this inertia that if we have to evacuate heat, there may be something else than a rotating blades. And you can also Google Dyson fan. Dyson fans are those fans which do not have blades apparently. Okay, now what psychology inertia is to be broken is ability to see links between phenomena and objects. So there are certain phenomena which occurs to us, which we see, which is actually visible to us, but actual object may be different from that. Ability to analogically think. So we need to think in a very analogical manner, and there are many other methods also, but what Tris will do is it will make you think in an analogical method, and it will streamline your thought process. Okay, and ability to fantasize. All those, I see that there are about 140 plus students over there, but just let me know, when did you last read a story book or a fairy tale, and what all things are there in that is fantasy. Okay, now we know about robo. Robo was initially, when it was coined a term as a robo, it was a mechanism which should solve the problem, or which should perform the work assigned to it without tiring, without asking for sleep, without asking for food and all that stuff. This was actually proposed in a play, and at that time the intention was just to convert a manual slave. That was a time when slaves were actually being sold and bought as a commodity. Okay, so because they had their issues, so this playwriter actually thought of, let's have a mechanized slave. And actual meaning of robota is a slave. But someone has thought of, now today, do we think that what is a robo? It is, or is it a great invention? No, nowadays even kids can assemble robos. Now let's get introduced to the person, Genrich Altschuler, who was founder of Thresh. He was, like, in such a short span, I won't be able to give you the details of his mesmerizing life, but I'll just let you know, like, he was a very brainy kid and got his first patent when he was in school. Later, he solved one of the challenges of Russian Navy, and he was awarded with the first prize in that. And later, he was offered a job as a patent attorney in the Russian government patent office. What has happened over there? He has come up with certain theory which he termed as a theory of solving inventive problems. Now, what he did when he was there, as he was very keen in understanding what inventions are, now he was sitting in a sea wherein there were millions and millions of patents. He just went through around 2 million patents, and mind it that that was not an era wherein he had computer to sort out and to find the things for him. It was all done manually. He found out only 40,000 of them. I'm just using a word only, but it is a humongous task to study 40,000 patents. But he did it. What was his first thought is how a inventor thinks, and he found certain things which are similar, which are the similarities. I will show you on the next slide. But he sorted out only 40,000 based upon the breakthrough invention, wherein the invention was not just tweaking or making some changes within the previous patent and getting a patent published, okay, or getting a patent awarded. So he found out 40,000 breakthrough inventions. And what were his key discoveries? He said that what we want is just the navigation. Why only navigation? Because over 99% of creative solution use already existing solution principle. Means if we consider that there is some new invention, so either he has got his solution from already existing solution principle. Then a question comes, if that is the case, how does he get the patent? Now the actual story begins, because it is totally different when we use the same thing in a different situation. It is not only adopting and it is not only understanding what is the function, but it is also adopting that to the your requirement. And I'll try to make it evident with some of the examples which I'm going to share with you. Okay, so first discovery was over 99% of creative solution use already existing solution principle. A breakthrough solution most often results from overcoming a contradiction. We'll see what is contradiction. Basic thing is contradiction is that two opposite effects have to be balanced. Okay, inventors and strong thinkers use common patterns. Okay, all inventors think in a common way. Innovative problem solving patterns are universal across different domains. Again, let it be a chemical, electrical, mechanical, related to agriculture or any other domain. But patterns are universal. That is why if you take something from agriculture and try to put this, just consider that you need to take the water and nutrients to the root of a plant. Similarly, you also need to take medicine or inject medicine to a certain person. So there is similarity between these two things. Okay, but you cannot do it in the same way wherein we are pushing something, injecting something in the soil and injecting something in a hand or of a person. So definitely there is a adoption problem, and that has to be resolved. But principle remains same. Evolution of man-made system is governed by certain regularities. Again, I'll give you example for this. And new innovative solutions can be produced in a systematic way by reusing previous experience. So that is what is shown over here. If we reuse the previous experience through the tools which are there, we can quickly reach to the working solution and to the most ideal solution. Okay, what is the approach? So as it is mentioned that we have mental inertia, and Einstein once said that if we want to solve a problem, we cannot solve it with the knowledge level which we had while developing that system or a product. Because if it would have been there, that problem would not have come at all. So we have to move to a different. How would we reach to that? How would we cross that? That all we'll be looking with some examples. So we have already seen that there are ways to solve the problem. There are different types of fields used to solve inventive problems, and which are actually made very evident in a simplified single word in TRIZ by Altshuler. And what it is MATCHEM-IV. M stands for mechanical, A stands for acoustic, T stands for thermal, C for chemical, electrical, and all these things. And EM again stands for electrical and magnetic, and electromagnetic. And electromagnetic is actually being used nowadays extensively for automation and other kind of activities. Further, it also goes to the intramolecular level, and with the advent of computers, databases, information is also one of the field and biological field. So can you, if someone can just think of something more than a magnet to find a needle in a haystack? Okay, so we'll just run our brains in a different direction and try to keep on thinking based upon what knowledge we have got. Many a time we understand what we are doing. We are not actually finding the needle. We are just separating the haystack from the needle. And moment I say I am separating, so I need to quickly think of, okay, there has to be some different properties of needle from the haystack. Okay, or from the hay or the straws, dry grasses. Okay, so what is the property? This is very lightweight. Needle would be heavy. So can we sort it or separate it in this way, in a mechanical way? Okay, how do we do it? Have you ever seen this kind of thing, that a heavier element is going down and lighter is remaining up? One question. Okay, I'm just giving you direction. Second is acoustic. Can there be any difference in sound? So either the sound made by the needle and the straw of grass, or reflection of those sound depending upon the ultrasound waves. Is there any difference? Can we find out? Is there any thermal difference between these two? If there any magnetic difference between these two? And that is what we have given the first answer. Anytime I ask this question, this is the first example answer, because this separates the properties of needle from hay. Hay does not get attracted to the magnet. Then thermally, what will happen? And the conductivity, electrical, magnetic, and thermal, all these things are different in this case. So I've just tried to put on certain things through a detector. It may be a metal detector, it may be a temperature detector, it may be magnetic kind of a detector, and you can have ultrasound detector. Just see, just looking at these words or these fields, we can come down to number of different solutions, and I have just populated these for you. Second is like, this was actually solved, and yesterday only it was shown on Mythbusters, that how to separate out the needle from the haystack. And those people made two huge mechanisms, and again use the mechanical, electrical, and magnetic, and again different type of fields to sort it out. So here what is shown is that there are magnets put on both. There is a sieve. Because needle is heavier, it will drop down. If at all it does not drop down, there, just see another picture over here, which was used in this Mythbusters. This how huge mechanism they have made, and it can be also found biological. I have shown you biological. Many people ask how to find a needle in a biological way. Fortunately, I got a like a cartoon on that. Even we can burn the haystack. What is it? It is the temperature which sorts out. If you heat very much to this, all the grass will burn and needle will still lie at the bottom. Okay, it will come down because heavy. You see, I have not shown needle over here. What is this? This is a very heavy element. What we try to do, we try to separate the properties of these two in an exaggerated way, or in such a way that it becomes very evident. Okay, then we can blow off again a mechanical effect converted or achieved through an electrical fan. You can see pin drop silence. Okay, can you hear a pin drop silence? Okay, you can hear the sound of the needle. So in this way, making the solution evident is the way in which this works, and in a guided way. Okay, so just remember MATCHEM IB. Now, even if we reach to one of the solution that we can blow away, okay, all these hay, because it is lighter and needle will fall down. But there are still many more ways which are termed as winnowing, in which it can be done. See, one product, one field, but there are various ways in which we can achieve. If you just remember our value proposition, that how many solutions we should get. So can you reach to number of solutions? Answer is definitely yes. Now coming to our next tool, that is known as contradiction resolving. So what is contradiction first? Contradiction emerges when two incompatible demands or requirements are placed on the same system or object and conflict with each other. Improving one system characteristic causes another to deteriorate. So if we want to increase acceleration, the fuel consumption will be there. More accuracy, okay. Improve crash worthiness, it will make it heavier and heavier. So what is the conventional way? It is compromise or trade-off. Most of us do not like dealing with paradox. What we do is instead we try to overcome the situation through compromise, trade-off, or finding an optimal solution. What is this optimal trade-off compromise? Compromise is something which we say that if there is a choice between two parties, each one of them think that I have a better deal, and both of them get satisfied. Rather, none of them have got a good deal. Both of them have actually traded off, and that is even optimizing is a very buzzword nowadays. Optimizing is only a decorative work of compromising. We are just not reaching to the maximum potential of that system, object, product, or service. Okay, and in many situations, this may work, but often contradictions are sharp and do not allow for compromise. In that case, what should be done? Let's take an exercise. Can you say yes and no at the same time? Many of you may be knowing this answer. Many of you may be nodding their head. Many of you may be oscillating your head, which may actually feel like, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
if some, yeah. So what is this? It is no. But when I increase it, it becomes. So a combination of many yes becomes no. So what I am doing, I am trying to say yes, and at the same time I am saying no. Okay. Or we can just put it in a certain way that there are many different systems which are working exactly opposite to what you want. But put all those systems in such a way that all of them will work in a same direction, and in which way will lead to what we want. Okay. Now let's see some contradiction problems. A mobile phone, it should be small when I want to keep it in my pocket and increase its portability. But it must be large to be ergonomic so that I can operate it. I can see it, the things on that very easily, very clearly. Second problem, you can see the long bus. It will carry many passengers, but it will be very difficult to take turns in a narrow city street. So what we want long to carry more people and to make narrow city turns in a narrow city street. A hiker's coffee, okay, those who are those who are climbers, and then those who go for camping and all that stuff, they want large volume to drink the more quantity of coffee, but it should be very small when I want to carry it. Okay, what do innovators do? To achieve maximum benefits, a contradiction must be eliminated to obtain the result desired and to reach win-win while avoiding the optimizing or compromising. Overcoming contradiction is a driving force behind systems evolution and results in breakthrough solutions. We have seen in the first few slides, that breakthrough solution, it is actually giving you good rewards, but it is risky, and that is why people are avoiding it. Now, Alshura also said, like when there is an invention, we have actually solved one or other of sharp contradiction. So here we can see the first phase was, this was such a small screen. In the same size, this was made, but then still you have a bigger screen. But that is not enough. We want much bigger screen. Okay, so when we have a kind of a screen, which is a touch screen, which can be worked as a keypad as well as a screen at the same time. Okay, then bus, we can have bus, but we have just increased it. Or question, in another situation, this height may not be permitted because there may be certain hanging wires, cables, or many other. So let's and just make it flexible from the center. Similarly, coffee cup, use and throw may be used. Or you can even use some coffee cup which may be collapsible. When you have to carry, it will be like this. When you want to drink coffee, it will be long like this. Now again a thing comes, like from where you all know these examples, but Triz will give you a guided way to reach to it. Had this solution not been known to a person practicing Triz, he would also have reached to the same solution. How? By following some of the steps. Just make you I'll just give you some examples, or one example wherein we'll be also solving one of the actual problem. But just before that, let's go to the one of the basic definition of TRIZ, that there are many problems in universe and many problems have their own solutions. What we need to do, I need to align my specific problem to the abstract problem, which has got its abstract solution. And in the same relation in which I have related my specific problem to the abstract problem, the abstract solution will reach to the specific solution. And just see, there won't be only one, there will be multiple solutions. And we are avoiding trials and errors. We are totally avoiding compromise, trade-offs, and optimization. We are totally avoiding making the averages. Let's not be very high, let's not be very low, let's be at an average level. We are all avoiding these things just through TRIZ methodology. Again, you can see left brain, you can see right brain. One of the brain is having its emotional quotient, other brain is side of the brain is having its practical quotient. As I mentioned in the beginning itself, to make the dream of Mr. Modi successful, not be only saleable, it should also be fitting to the needs of the customer and the is affordable by that customer. Okay, so let's see one example. A husband is 3 years older than his wife and the product of their ages is 1404. How old are they? No, this is a stupid question for you all because you can quickly solve it. I'm not interested in TRIZ, neither. Okay, I am not interested in solution. Sorry, I'm not interested in solution. Neither is TRIZ interested in solution, because TRIZ is we do not, TRIZ or Altshuler rather said, TRIZ do not take you to the solution, give you the solution. It just take you near to the solution so that the solution becomes evident. As I have just shown you, the needle becomes so huge that the haystack becomes small, and the needle itself say, hey, I'm here, you can find me easily. Okay, so how this problem is solved? By this time someone of you might have solved it also, but again I go with this method: specific problem, abstract solution, specific solution, and you get your solution. Specific problem, this word problem. What is done in next phase is it is put up inside equation. There is a model, and what we do, we just try to find one of the models through this wordings, convert it in equation, and there are many equation types available which has got their own solution. What I need to do is match my equation to one of those, and from one of those it has got its solution. What I need to do is just simply put all these values in this equation. Again, if you do not know all this process, if you do not know this, still you can reach to the solution. But in terms of solving it in a systematic way and batching your equation to the standard equation, is you are just using someone else's work for your task. Now, had it been a husband or a wife or some a number of trees or whatever may be, it is not at all domain specific. We are just speaking about and constant only, and we reach to this. Second most important thing in this is we reach to the solution very quickly. So in market, it really matters how fast do you launch your product or service. Okay, let's see one of the in a practical case how this is solved. I'm giving you one more insight in how to resolve the contradiction. So there are, Altshuler did a lot of studies in his patent. actual this knowledge is derived from the knowledge of patents, because what we generally do when we say that invention is very good invention, when we get a patent, is like a third party or a entire nation or many different nations which are accepting that your work is different from others, and then only they award a patent. So we can say if I am getting a patent, that means my work is different. But what Altshuler did, he already had patents and he just tried to find out contradictions did these people solve. So he has just put up 39 different engineering parameters, which are also termed as a technical parameters or Altshuler's parameters. He have found out from all that database that what exactly is a contradiction which this fellow has resolved. So someone might have done that the volume of a non-moving object should be very less, but the speed of that should be more. So less smaller fuel tank and higher speed. How would it be done? So that fellow has resolved this. Okay, so he just saw that what is the principle this fellow has used, and he further listed all those principles, and whatever he could find were 40. Now you can say he studied, forget about 2 million patents, he studied 40,000 patents, and how come he can summarize everything in 39 engineering parameters and 40 inventive principles? How he can do it? He could do it because he did it at a abstract level. He removed all that stuff from them, that what is, whether the problem is of engineering or a social problem or agriculture problem or a medical problem, okay, or drug delivery or a whatever kind of delivery it may be. Okay, so what he did is he just put them at an abstract level. 39. Now again, very interesting thing. This study was done in 1950s to 1960 at max. While after that, there were many people who did a large level of again what we can say patent study, and now they were equipped with very different things which were not available to Altshuler. What were these? One, more and more number of patents, because Altshuler did only in Russian government patent office. So his all patents were limited to the Russian, and then it was termed as a USSR. So it was limited to that only. Now, all those people in a modern life have access to the patents all across the world. And at the same time, what did they have? They have a power of computer. Computer can compute fast. You can just use AI, you can just use machine learning, you can use any other methods. You can just put a few keywords, and these keywords can mine the entire data through data mining and just give you lot of outputs in a very precise and accurate way. But remember one thing, that they could not add even 40th principle. Again, what these new people have during their study post Altshuler's work, that there are advent of lot of computers and electronics, not till 60s or 70s also. Okay, still all these things lie within this 39, just because he did everything on an abstract level, and when we move towards abstract level, it remains same. And this shows his extensive study also. Further, what I said, like he has given 40 inventive principles. What he did is, if I want to improve something, so this is very small, I have just shown it for as a symbolic thing, that length of a moving object is to be improving feature, and we have to have a worsening feature as an area of moving object. Now what he did is, he put all these 39 principles in a column, and similarly he put all those itself in a row, so that these are the overlapping one. This is weight of moving object, so nothing will come to it. Studied that is there someone who has solved the problem of weight of moving object with weight of stationary object. Doesn't make sense, and so you can't find anywhere else. Otherwise, you can find some numbers over here. What these numbers signify? These numbers signifies this 40 inventive principle. So if I see that here is certain number 35, 28, 40. So 35 says that 35 is this problem can be attempted in a parameter change. What was else? 28. 28 replace mechanical system. Or 39 is inert atmosphere or composite materials and all these things. Or use a mediator if it is 25. Okay. All these things are actually worked upon and these suggestions have been given. So in the paucity of time, we cannot go through all this stuff. I'll just take one example that contradiction ways to solve problem. Okay, what are this? You can see this fellow. He is a very senior fellow, and he is very intelligent. And it can be evident because he is wearing specs and he has lost all his many of his hairs. That means he is intelligent. No, he is intelligent and he is a designer and he understands this aeroplanes design. Okay, he says we have got a problem here. We need bigger engines, which mean a bigger air intake area. And that's insufficient ground clearance. If you make it bigger and bigger, you can increase the air intake area, but then it will touch to the ground and there will be very less ground clearance. He further says it's a contradiction. You can't have both. See this fellow. He may not be having any knowledge of this air industry, aircraft designing and all that stuff, but he has, okay. He says, yes, you can. TRIZ has 4 answers for solving this problem. Can you see it? 4 answers. He cannot get even one option for doing it. So initially, Boeing, this is a case study solved for Boeing. Initially, the air intake used to be perfectly circular. You can see this. Okay. This is to be improved. And how huge is it? I've just tried to show a person over here, sitting over here, how huge it is. What is our problem? Length of the moving object. This is the length. Okay, this is the length. It is to be worsened. Means what is to be done? This length is to be reduced. And what is to be improved? Area of moving object. So this entire area is to be increased and length is to be, this length is to be reduced. And this would be moving thing. And that is why we have taken length of moving object and area of moving object. We have put it in contradiction matrix as I've shown. And it gives 4 options. Not necessarily always it will give 4 options. Sometimes it may give 3 options. Sometimes it may not need at all. So depending on what his study has been done or what is actually the abstract level knowledge he is having, it depends on this. So what we could find in 40 inventive principle among this 40 were 4. What is these 4 is asymmetry, spherodality, dynamicity, and mechanical vibration. I've just put those numbers and I've just tried to put something. What does asymmetry mean? There is less weight to put 2 wheels on and 2 wheels on this, put 1 wheel on this and put 3 wheels on this side, so that though it may look asymmetric, but it will solve the problem. It will cater to the problem. Okay. Now what is our problem? We have to make this asymmetric in a way so that its area should increase and this length should decrease. Did you get a solution? Most just more thinking, more concentration on this will give you the solution. You can see if you use the TRIZ to solve the contradiction, you can make it in some different way. This is what it is, just asymmetry. Change the shape. And then he says, yes, he's right. With TRIZ, you can have both. And that is the resolving of the contradiction. This is the Boeing air intake earlier, and you can see it became like this. It's just moved in a like a different shape over here, which is asymmetric. Further, it is used in F-16 aircraft in this manner. Further again, as I mentioned, in a fan case, also in case or moving out the separating out the hay from needle, I said that even we can have different class of action for solving. So now, fighter aircraft, we do not need big wings. So air intake is just taken over here. Again, you can see it is circular, and at a later stage, it was made like this. Okay, just again reducing the space. Okay, so it is applicable at many places. It remains like that. A knowledge is a knowledge. It is eternal. Okay, GenTRIZ innovation map. So there are different tools for different projects. Okay, Triz also have it. You can just see over here that this lady is waiting for her husband. If he is late, okay, this is the tool to be used. Drunk this, and it's lipstick, having lipstick on his shirt, then may God save him. Gen3's innovation roadmap covers right from problem identification to problem solving up to concept substantiation. Okay, for just having the identification of the problem, you can see how many tools do we use. There are 8 tools which we use, and I'll not go in again detail, but none of the other method use trimming. What is trimming? Reducing the number of component within a system so that the system will become better and better. But this is actually taken up at an earlier stage, and there is a step-by-step method, as I have shown in the first pictorial representation, that Triz provides a step. So don't get like don't get that it will be very complicated. It will make us to move through that streamlined way, and we'll reach to the solution. Once we reach to the solution, it is not enough to just give the conceptual direction. We also have concept substantiation and make it as a product or a process or a complete service. I'll just go through a few principles of innovation. Basically, through our Gen3's methodology, we have 9, but out of them, I will be discussing a very few with some examples. Improve only features the customer will pay for, not all features. This is termed as right MPV. Many a time, many a product are launched in the market. You might have witnessed that there was a dream product of Mr. Ratan Tata. Okay, immediately you have come up with the term nano. Can you see it on roads now? Is it being manufactured now? No, because it is one of the marvelous project. Okay, while being marvelous, what has happened is there are so many patents generated from that, right from simple how many nuts and bolts should be there on one of the wheels up to how many wipers should be there on the windscreen. Everything they have worked upon, and they have got hundreds of patents on that. But why did it fail? It just failed. Even at a later stage, Mr. Ratan Tata also accepted that it is wrongly positioned in the market, because he had a dream that people, the family which is moving in scorching heat and rains, should get a comfortable drive in a small car, but it was branded as a poor person's car. And if someone buys this car, people brand him, or himself feels like people will think that I am a poor man, that is why I have bought a nano. Instead, they bought second-hand cars which were not so efficient, but maybe not a nano, not a one which is branded with a poor man's car, and the nano as a product in a market, it failed. Okay, let's see what is main parameter of value. This is a case study of electric shavers. This is a case study of Panasonic. What has happened? It started losing its market share because this market became very saturated, highly saturated in a competitive shavers market. Because while performance, if you just take any of the product over the period of time, you will see that it starts performing in a very efficient way. There is again a very detailed study on which we can do this, that is S-curve. So from S-curve, we can find out like how these are efficient and all that stuff. Those who know it can understand, but if I get a further chance, so I'll try to explain it in much detail, because Triz has studied and worked upon lot of these criticalities in the S-curve. So further, what has happened? It is losing the market share because market is saturated. Everyone is giving a similarly functioning product, but because it is Panasonic, the product, the shaver which it had was costing around $150+. The Chinese market and other manufacturers started manufacturing it and started selling in $70 to $80 rupees. Sorry, not rupees, $82, around $70 to $80. So there was a marginal performance difference. Challenge was how do we make the electric shaver a market winner? So initial analysis showed that the two voice of customer parameter, that is shaving effectiveness and cleanliness and skin protection, were already being satisfied. If we ask to the customer, what do you need? They say we just want shaving effectiveness, or they want the skin protection and the cleanliness. That was being satisfied. So now we need to identify some niche market, and we did it through our different channel, which is known as Global Knowledge Network. I'll explain it later. What did we find? That there are frequent travelers, and frequent travelers have their own needs when we consider a shaver. There are elderly or disabled person with hand tremors due to their age, their hands start shaking, or they may be suffering. There may be people who disabled due to Parkinson disease and their hands may be shaky. Then people with fast growing hair. It was identified and found through research that there are 8% of a population who have got very fast growing hair. What does it mean? Even if they have shaved in the morning, by the time it is evening, they have already grown a lot of hair and their look is shabby as if he has not shaved. Okay. Further, people that need to shave urgently, that is before an important business meeting or a date. Last moment something pops up and he has to go. So he has to actually shave on the move, we can say. So this MPV analysis has resulted in these, or this analysis has resulted in these MPVs. What is this? Size of the shaver. This person need to have a very small shaver. Okay. Then weight of the shaver must be less again. Then absence of need for charging, because people who are frequent travelers, people who are carrying this shaver in their pocket would not need to go for frequent charging. Then low cost. What did we get is a compact card size shaver that can be used on demand. Price band, you can just see 19 to $54, depending upon some detailings or some specialized features within them for disabled people, or for some ladies use and all that reach to it. But if we consider minimum, it is around 19 to $20, much cheaper than the other product which were competing on a high price point. Okay. Another thing is, what is impact, business impact? More than $50 million annual revenue was the impact of this. And not only this, it was actually covered with over 7 to 8 patents, allowing the client to keep this market niche with themselves. Now, what is the challenge? You can see how thin is it, what is the length, size of this, what is the breadth of this. Now, when we look at it, the challenge was how to make a motor flat, because motors are generally cylindrical. If you have cylindrical motor, it will consume a lot of space, and in that case, the thing becomes bulkier. Okay, so that challenge was met. I'll state it at a later stage. How? Second, battery. So only two AAA size batteries, it gives at least 1 month of shaving. In fact, I'm using for more than 2 months, but it is still there. Okay. Utilize global knowledge network to complement your in-house expertise, as I've just mentioned. Okay, and adapt existing solutions. Don't always invent. So again, as Archulot rightly said, that 99% of the solutions are already available. What we need to do is just match my problem with someone else's problem. Okay, now this is a function oriented search. I'll not I have skipped or I've deleted those slides wherein the all methodologies was showing. I've just directly come down to the actual case study. You can see this is a wafer, which is a silicon wafer, and it is to be coated with the photoresist. And while it is coated, a bubble of drop of photoresist is poured on that, and it is rotated at a very high RPM so that it gets spread across its top surface. While doing this, even there is a small bubble, it makes a bubble track. And if there is a bubble track, what it will do, it will cause the rejection and just discarding that product. No rework was possible on this, and see the rejection level. 20% of the pieces, okay, are rejected. So you can see what would be its impact on the loss, how can we eliminate bubbles formation during the dispensing process was the challenge. Mind it, how do we define it? We say during the dispensing process, we say let there be millions and millions of bubbles till this point, but I want this bubble, I want zero bubble at this point. Okay, so how it was solved? We have to find a specific function which is to be improved that we have found. Okay, to remove bubble from photoresist during its dispensing. Generalized function is that to control bubble formation in liquid flow. We do not say it as a photoresist, we do not say it as a silicon wafer, we just say that this is a liquid. What are the leading industries wherein if there is a single bubble in liquid, it will cause a problem of exaggerated to such a level. Hello. I don't know what happened.
We can hear you, sir.
Yes, sir.
We can hear you, sir.
Yes, we can hear. Yeah, yeah, we
My
can hear you.
slide,
Yes, sir,
yeah.
we are hearing.
Can you see it? Okay. So how it will become a question of life or death. So one of the area is blood transfusion. If there is blood transfusion, even a single bubble may cause clot and cause the death of a person. Second is scuba diving. While someone is resorting his life on the this particular thing, so oxygen, if there is some bubble. Okay, then champagne wines production. So champagne wine production is the one area wherein we can have a manufacturing process. So in this manufacturing process, we approach the champagne industry and we ask, guys, do you know how to solve the problem of bubbles? They say, if we would not have known it, we would not have been there in market. And what we did is simply employed the ball wall from that and adopted in the photoresist problem. And you can see what is the business impact: 0% waste level and 20 million annual cost. When he met Simon, our director, he asked him that how did you reach to this? Even in my wildest of dream, I have never thought that I'll get my solution electronic industry in a champagne industry. So what is innovation forecast? What are the twist trends? So there is something which I tried to tell you through this, that there is known as voice of customer. We have different methods to identify the voice of customer. Definitely it is important to listen to a customer because he is the one who is going to buy. But many a time what happens, he is like this. What does it mean? People are not good at identifying their needs. How do we say that they are not good? There are two reasons. One is limitation of market survey. People don't know what they don't know. Steve Jobs said that if I would have listened to the voice of customer, I would have never come up with a touch screen. I would have just made bigger and bigger screen with keypad. Similarly, Henry Ford said that if I would have listened to the voice of customer, I would have just added number of horses to the carriage and never come up with an engine. So we need to listen to what voice of product. So what is this voice of product? So we have different tools again for that. And obviously we have to listen to customer, we have to listen to the product, and we find the sweet spot between these two. And how do we define innovation is that market available significant improvement along at least one main parameter of value. And this is what we have seen in the previous example also. Now, when we have to do this, we have to listen to the voice of the product and we have to see what is the trend of engineering system evolution. You can put it to any of the products which are there. It may be a door, it may be a curtain, it may be a table, anything. You will see that initially it was monolith, one, then it became two, joint, then it become multi-joint, elastic, powder, liquid, gas, and field. Just take an example. What we call it is a mono, bi, poly, then flexi, then powder, liquid, gas, and field. Simple ruler which we used to see in the shop of cloth merchant. It is very convenient to have it long to measure or to increase the productivity, to do the work quickly. But it is very difficult to carry, very difficult to keep. So there were one fold, multi-fold, then this has become flexi and this has reached to the laser ruler. Similar example I have given you that initially for this board there were only one oar and one can row through this. Later we found that there are multi. Then it changed the class, it changed the field. from manual work, it has gone to the wind, okay, which we can see as a mechanical way, which was actually creating a destructive problem, because initially when people were rowing the boat in one direction, if there is a air from a opposite direction, it would just resist, and they would have to put more and more effort. But someone realized that this can be done. Again, this was mono. We have gone to the next level of action, okay, or next field of action we are using over here, and you can see it has become again mono, bi, poly, and again you can see this has become flexi. And by that time again there was steam engine which was developed. So when steam engine was developed, again this was there, but still this was also there at a later stage. You can see this like this, and these are all gasoline engines which we can see. One more thing to learn over here: any product initially it does not leave the previous process. They were oaring. This rowing was done, but gradually this system became stable. I was telling you about S-curve. This system started becoming stable, and people started moving towards it. You can see the amount of rowings have reduced, and the amount of this mast is increased. So later you can see these were so many. But then when engine came, steam engine came, still these were there. And later it became self-sufficient, and later it went through this. So these are some trends. Now coming to our point of self-reliance. Reliance on one's own powers and resources rather than those of others is the meaning of self-reliance. Learning to be self-reliant is important to be taught when a child is a young age, so it can develop as they grow older. So we consider ourselves in post-COVID treatment situation as a very nascent stage, and we have to grow and we have to learn being self-reliant. And what does self-reliant mean further? It is to be presented to the ability to take control over our life, being motivated from within, and being able to take care of oneself. So what we need, we have to have inventive resources and move towards ideality. What resources are available in this picture? So because we are running out of time, so I'll not spend time. What we can see initially, what answers I get is there is a lady, there's a computer, this is a building, there is some, it is at height because we can see other buildings over there and all that stuff. Then I reveal that what all things are there. So you can see some green things in this. Okay. Further, I'll give you further guidelines to are actually hidden. So what we need to do, make the other resources evident. Okay, so how it can be done? So there is something known as system of subsystem, that is super system, subsystem, and base system. I'll just give you a quick example that if we have a pen, so the paper on which we are writing with the pen is a super system for that. Pocket in which I'm keeping it, a pouch or a geometry box in which I am keeping it is again a super system for that. What is the subsystem of that? Subsystem is refill, maybe ink, maybe nib and springs and all that mechanism for clicking and all would be subsystem. So for any of the resources when we are looking at it, so just don't look at a computer and finish it. You look more into subsystem and you look how it is adapted to the super system. Okay, so there are further guidelines. Okay, we have space resources, time resources, system resources, function resources, information resources, substances, and energy and field resources. There are so many resources. This category, if you just look at each one of them, these resources will reveal. Now, what is ideality? When we move towards ideality, we move towards that all useful functions are there and these are maximized, and all harmful undesired functions and cost are to be reduced. This metric is used to measure progress towards the ideal final result. So what it says that utilization of the resources available in the system or its surrounding can increase ideality in several ways by engaging unutilized resources to provide additional useful resources. Like if this fellow is climbing it, his life is at stake, because what he has to do, he has to use all the available resources. He just can't say that I have rope and I'll just climb by this rope. Let it be some crevices, let it be some projections, whatever is, maybe his foot power, powers in the leg, powers in the hand, his thinking capability, his weight of his backpack. If there is something again in this backpack, that also he can use during his climbing the cliff. Okay, reducing cost related factor, that is denominator. eliminating unutilized resources. If there is some unwanted weight within this, he can just relieve them, and relieving them will also be a resource because his weight will reduce and he can now climb efficiently. These are undesired harmful function. Utilizing internal instead of external resources. And that is what we are looking towards, our national resources instead of getting more and more import from other countries, utilizing less expensive or more accessible resources. And that is how it is done. Again, we want certain guidelines for that. Any substance or anything made up of a substance, including waste, that is available in the system or in environment is a resource. Any energy reserve or free time, unoccupied space, information is a resource. And functional and technological ability to perform additional function, including property of substance, that is physical, chemical and geometrical. PEC, M when we say, so physics, chemistry, math. So here physical concepts, this goes to our mat chem in intramolecular, if you just think on that. Biological and chemical and all this stuff. Now with this view, again we can see what are the readily available resources, what are the accumulated resources. So if we just say that if I have readily available whatever I can see immediately beside her, then accumulation, there may be certain accumulation, concentration of different resources, then leveraging the combination of these resources, then natural use, changing, derived, useful, and most important thing, we also consider the harmful resources within the person or within the availability or the vicinity. So again, we don't have time, otherwise I would have taken it as an exercise. But when I look at this lady, so what are the different dimensions? It may be a literary work. She seems to be educated. She seems to be having some knowledge in meditation. Can we use this knowledge and this things in certain thing? If she is educated, if she is having some skills, if she is having some education, so she can work as a motivation. She can work as a person who can teach others. There may be certain human fatigue things, how she is overcoming them. Then there are certain moving or non-verbal messages, what we can see through this. Okay, there is a dispatch dispatch trays and incoming trays and all this stuff. This is a chair which is a cozy one. There is outside weather, there is inside weather. Inside weather seems to be like you can separate it out with this curtains. Okay, all these are, you can use them in accumulation. That she want isolation, so you can just drop down those curtains. You can just switch off certain unnecessary things which are creating more light over there, so that it should not be visible. And there are many other ways, and there may be certain differences also. At one side she is having some high technology, and at other side she is doing some basic thing. One side she has got all advanced things over here, computer and all that stuff, and other things she is going to the natural resources. You just think on these points and you can make around 30 to 40 resources out of this. So that was my intention. Now a question is TRIZ really effective? So I'll quickly browse through this. Yes, TRIZ is effective and proven time and again by various research. See where Samsung was in 2001. What was the revenue in US dollar billion in billions? So it was this much. It was this much for Sony. And after Samsung started to deploy TRIZ since 2001, see where Samsung has gone and where Sony could not reach to. About 33,000 people are trained in TRIZ. These are the other products. Boeing case, one of the Boeing case we have already discussed. There is Samsung, Mars. There are so many other things. Okay, you can just visit our website www.trizasia.com and you can get much more information on this. This is our strategic partner which have done at a global level these things. So White Strips, Procter & Gamble. If we are using some toner, this is a TRIZ product. Chiquita banana, this is a single banana which is sold at the cost of more than a dozen banana. That is the value addition in this. People are buying it, so you can understand what would be the value addition in that. So there are so many other things also. Like Samsung, when we have the intervention with General Electric, see how many number of patents started going up. Samsung again, it started going up. Procter and Gamble, you just see our intervention and see the level of innovation increase. If you think that TRIZ is not there in academics, you can see how many books are there. You can see how many universities are actually practicing TRIZ. There are more than 200 different universities which are practicing. I have just listed some of the countries and now it is proliferating everywhere. Where can TRIZ help you for final year projects, for masters, PhD project, research and development, entrepreneurship and startup? You can see this methodology is a comprehensive methodology, right from identifying a problem up to making it a successful product, a market winner product in the market, and up to the level that we get IPR out of that. Has this been taught anywhere else in universities? This is our team. As I mentioned, there are 200 plus universities which are teaching, but our team has done it in MIT Boston, University of Twente Netherlands, University of Lappeenranta Finland, ASMS College of Engineering Pune, Mega Group of Institutes, wherein all faculty members were trained for this. Cummins Women's College of Engineering, your own college, SIES, the faculty and students were participants in this. We have done level 1 over here, Symbiosis and Gujarat Technological Universities, and many more. These are the various logos I could just put in wherein this chapter activities are going on. And we are also in certain, through this chapter, we are also giving certain trainings to industries also. Okay. And these are the, as a TRIZ Asia, the national level activities which are being done as in consultancy or training right now is put on here. We are basically, as a TRIZ Asia regional representative of Matriz. Matriz is the university of TRIZ. Okay, like all the curriculum and everything is designed, finalized by them or selected by them. And I can boast that our parent company, Gentriz, its syllabus is being used as a Matriz syllabus. So you can just imagine it is one of the firm with 8,000 plus global knowledge network. You can see over here, though our national team is slightly like very lean as of now. Okay, and because we use our different sources, as we have said, there is global knowledge network. So when we did that Panasonic case study, and when I was speaking about that shaver, so shaver would have been, there is two situations that it may have its flat motor available in some different domain that we can find out, or we can just hire some motor expert, motor manufacturer, or some person who can make a cylindrical motor in a flat motor. And if there are 10 experts in motor technology all across the world, we have at least 3 to 4 on our listing or on our network. This is the strength which we have, and that is why we say that our mission is met, and that is increasing ROI in innovation and reducing the time of market strategy, which is most important thing in any of the product or a service life, and increasing innovation impact. Our existence is in more than 24 countries. You can just see, and we have our global knowledge network. I'm just going through it fast so that we can have more time for discussion. As I mentioned, you can just go to our website and see the details which we are having. What are the goals of this chapter? It is similar to any of those other chapters, but we have a strength of more innovation methodology, and which is very robust, and which is repeatable, which is teachable, and which is reliable also. It is not just inspiration. We are just trying to solve something. TRIZ does not leave our hand till the time we reach to the solution. Benefits to the student would be definitely association with international professional bodies, certification of membership, potential to increase in number of patents, global visibility. Our chairman, Mr. Sri Fadnis, who is from TRIZ Asia, and Mr. Narayan, who is fortunately present today, they started all this stuff with a dream that every student should graduate with a patent. And you can understand value of a person who has already got a patent while he's graduating. And it is not only possible, but it is also easily possible through this methodology. And we have already witnessed it. We are not just saying this without any experience. So global visibility would be there. We will be helping out in many trainings and projects and all that stuff. And our key point would be that all these things would be done with the highest of technology, with the trend of these product development or the technology development, at the same time with minimum time required for that. We have many offerings for you all. And as I mentioned, like right from selection of the project up to reaching to the market winner product, or up to circumvention and getting the IPR. Training levels are on basic level, first level, level 1, level 2, level 3 till professional level. We have training program. These are classroom teaching kind of levels, and after four is equivalent to PhD level, and level 5 is that wherein a person has to in knowledge of TRIZ. What it sounds about is it talks about that TRIZ is not a stagnant method. Like after the sad demise of Altshuler, it is not that TRIZ has stopped. TRIZ is evolving itself, and we say that TRIZ solves the problem of TRIZ itself, and TRIZ develops TRIZ itself. So TRIZ is ever growing, and we can get all the advantage of the new knowledge also along with this. How do we introduce TRIZ in institute? So there are many ways in which we have done. One specific way we have used on Saturday, Sundays, or holidays in SIES in other college, but we are pretty flexible about it. As your needs are, we can just discuss, we can just find out the best way, and in which we can have some hand holding, and all these things is not being done to earn money. There have to be some minimum charges, and that is what we are trying to put on annual basis. And you can just see, if you are a MBA and Tech student, it is only 500 rupees, and B Tech students or MCA student, MSc students 350 rupees, diploma and BSc BSA 300 rupees per annum, and which gives you a certain number of free trainings also, and of some advanced training also can be discounted. Faculty members is only 600 rupees. Actually, it started with the student chapter, but many faculty member and professional also approached us, and they said why it should be limited to students, why not to others? And that is why we have now made it as a TRIZ chapter and removed that it should be only applicable to the student. You can quickly take a snapshot of this. These are the points which we have covered, and I hope I made the justice to all of them within the given stipulated time. But definitely we are open for more and more interactions, and these are our contacts. You can always get those things from our the organizers, and that's all from my end. So can say that we can end with the statement that PM has said that we have to be very vocal, being the local, and we have to solve our problem ourselves. And I promise and I guarantee that this is one of the way to reach to it. So that's all from my side. Session is open for some suggestions or questions. And as I mentioned, Mr. Narayan is also with me. So both of us will try to sort your queries if at all there are.
Sir, please unshare your screen.
Okay, I'll unshare.
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep Wankhede. It was indeed a very, very long session of 1 hour and 1 hour. To keep all posted, that we have 130 more participants in this session. It was indeed an interesting session.
Rebel Gohare has raised his hand.
Yeah, we are open for Q&A, but I would just like to make my observations here. Since this webinar is an initiative with IQAC of our college, Lab cell of college, as well as the Center of Excellence heading this quiz programs in our college. On behalf of them, this value of the month for me is being declared as self-reliance. And Mr. Sandeep Wankhade's session today with all of us, I am sure all the participants will agree, has made us think, motivate ourselves, evolve, and questioning oneself, right? So with that, I would like to open up the session for Q&A. I would request the participants to raise your hand first and then unmute yourself to ask your questions. Thank you. There was one question in the chat asked earlier, Mr. Wankhede. What is patent? This was Mr. Nachiketa's question. If you want to start with that.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Wankhede, can you hear me?
Actually, I missed your voice for a while. Can you just repeat the question?
Yeah, there was a question in the chat a while ago by Mr. Nachiketa Rajesh. What is a patent? To start with, we can take that.
Okay. Patent is basically the intellectual property right given to a person. It is in other sense similar to like what we have a property. If I own a house or if I own a land, how all I can utilize this like my property. Similar way I can use the intellectual property. And to get a patent, there has to be actually three conditions that it should be. There has to be a newness in that, and it should be useful for mankind. It should not be harmful. If I tomorrow say that I want to patent a gun, so then it would be like put it in a way that it has to be there for a defensive one, not for destruction one. And the third thing, it should not be very obvious. So if I'm just trying to add some feature in the existing product, and if I say that I have made a different product, so if any raw or common man can think of that these two things can be clubbed together and we can make it, so then again it will not be awarded as a patent. So with this minimum time, this is all I can introduce. And definitely there are many sessions. Even we can have some sessions on patents. And very strong tool what we have got in TRIZ is that if someone has patented, many a time we have experienced when we go for consultancy, we like that company goes for a lot of development, and at the end they realize that this is already patent. They have done their in-house research, and then they realize this is already patented. So what to be done? And one more thing about patents, whenever we have a patent, we have to put certain claims. These claims would refrain others from utilizing or following this processes or a technology which we have done. So in circumvention of patents, what we do, we find some other way through functional analysis or functional modeling and trimming and other tools, so that this does not infringe on the claims of the previous patent person. So all said and done, even if it is something is restricted by the intellectual property right, still we can find ways by like there is methodology. So it will not stop you from getting something.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. I am
Good
Rabel.
afternoon.
I am Rabel Guhroy from Hazaribagh Government College, Vinoba Bhave University.
Oh, great.
Jharkhand. You know. So
Yeah.
your session is very interactive session. I want to ask one question. Basically, what is the difference? Basically, is a consultancy project and patent. Basically.
Sir, consultancy project, basically we any consultancy project is basically, as I've said, there are some problems, and if you can resolve those problems, that is a consultancy. But when we reach to patent, we have to have something which has all these three things which I've just told you, and we have to prove it in the like while getting it awarded to us. For that we have to put up a lot of documentation. We have to even give them some prototyping, some experimentation results and all that stuff. And there may be a two-way process. They may be asking us for certain details on that, and we have to comply our their expectation in this regard. So consultancy is basically just solving some of the problem which those people could not solve. It may not be at the level of patent, but in many cases, when we work in TRIZ methodology, we reach to the patent because our methodology is such a way that when you go to the problem, you just try to, like, I'll give another example. I'll just slightly divert. If I have a table, if I have four legs in the table on the table, so if I add one more, I'll not get a patent for that because it's obvious. But if I do something that there is no leg, but still this table is performing its function, it is something new, it is something not obvious, and it is not destructive. That is why I may get the patent for that. And solving problem in industries, like there may be many times just a shift from what is the basic problem and what they are perceiving it as a problem. And that is why when we go and when we follow our systematic method, we reach to the problem very quickly. I'll add one question example to this. Once we were working with a company which was in like cleaning glasses, furniture glasses, this
Yes, yes,
something
yes.
like a Colin. I cannot name that company. But then what was happening? They were making a lot of changes within the chemical process, and still there were some streak marks. Whenever we wipe it, there are some marks which are left over. And that is why the customer was not very happy. They were complaining against them and all that stuff. But when we went over there, we asked a different question, and question was, we asked them, is it a problem that streak marks are there, or the problem is that it is visible? See the shift, and immediately that has changed the domain. Now it is not a chemical problem, because they have explored everything within that chemical industry through the expert. But now it has become a problem wherein one can see it or not, how to not let a person see, or how to make that surface in such a way that it will not be visible, and in this way it is solved. So you can give some suggestions as well,
Okay,
not
ma'am.
only queries.
Yes. So shall we move ahead to our formal vote of thanks? Mahalakshmi?
Yeah, ma'am. Is any participant willing to give any feedback?
Okay.
Yeah,
So
ma'am.
let
Please
us
continue,
move
Geeta
over
ma'am.
to, yes, let us move over to the formal vote of thanks. So when we look at higher education scenario worldwide, we come across two most sought after graduate attributes: critical thinking and scientific temperament. The higher education objectives also emphasis on honing innovation and entrepreneurial skills among the students as a quality initiative. As Dr. Wankhede rightly said in his presentation, innovation is cumbersome. Yet, if we overcome our mental inertia, define our problem precisely, take a scientific approach to look for possible solutions, and apply our locate contradictions and reject inappropriate solutions, we may move in right direction. Innovation is the route to self-reliance. Atmanirbharta has become a key word now, and there couldn't have been a more fitting guidance session, sir, than this one for our theme, the theme of the month of our Value Lab. On behalf of all the participants, a big thank you to Dr. Wankhede for this insightful and informative presentation. I would also like to thank Mr. P.V. Narayan, President, TRIZ India Asia Association, and also an SIS alumnus for helping us in organizing this event. Thank you to SIS management for the constant encouragement, as always. Thank you to the SIS technical support team for making us the Teams platform available for this event. I would like to thank our principal, Dr. Uma Shankar Madam, for her constant guidance and motivation in all our endeavors. I would also like to place on record my sincere appreciation for the efforts taken by our student volunteers under the able guidance of Mahalakshmi Nadar and Kamala Srinivas for making this event possible during lockdown period. A big thank you to all the Center for Excellence team of volunteers. Last but not the least, a big thank you to all participants, teachers, students, researchers for their enthusiasm to connect with us to attend this webinar in spite of the lockdown situation. Now I request Mahalakshmi